2 months in a coma. Really scary to hear, but thankfully he's doing much better. Let's talk about it. Hi guys, welcome to the channel. If you like hearing stories from the 90s, subscribe. Let's get into it. Albert Joseph Brown III was born in Boston, Massachusetts on June the 4th in 1968. Known as one of the pioneers of New Jack Swing and one of the most popular romantic singers, he is an artist, songwriter, producer, and record executive. His father, Albert Joseph Brown II, was a medical technician and his mother was an office manager. Unfortunately, his parents divorced when he was a kid and he was raised by his mother. While his father started a new life with a new family, he said his mother worked so hard, he didn't realize they were poor. Raised in Mount Vernon, New York, he grew up listening to Marvin Gaye and Johnny Mathis, to name a few. He was really into soul music. Shaw played football in high school and was the star quarterback. He ended up winning a full scholarship to go to the University of Iowa, but he turned it down to pursue music. Maybe there wasn't much of a music scene in Iowa at the time. In 1987, Albie Shaw entered a talent contest organised by Sony called the Sony Innovators Talent Search, and one of the judges on the panel was Quincy Jones, who saw something in him from the very beginning. Shaw won the contest and got the attention of another music mogul, Andre Harrell, founder of Uptown Records and mentor to Sean Puffy Combs. Andre Harrell himself entered the music scene as an artist, as part of the rap duo Jekyll and Hyde. They had 2 minor hits in the 80s, but after disappointing sales, they ended up splitting. Both of them turned to the business side of the industry. Andre Harrell joined Russell Simmons in his Rush management company, working with acts such as Run DMC. He launched Uptown Records in 1986. At just 25, he was already a vet in the industry. He went on to shape pop culture, recruiting many of the hip-hop and R&B artists that we know today. Heavy D and the Boys was his first act. Heavy D and Albie Shaw were best friends in high school and they were teammates. They both played football. The first music released on Uptown Records was a compilation album called Uptown is Kickin' It, which featured Heavy D and the Boys. Heavy D went on to introduce Albie Shaw to Andre Harrell, and Albie Shaw became Uptown Records' first R&B artist. At 19, Shaw began working on his first album and collaborated with Teddy Riley, who was himself a teenager at the time. Shaw wrote his own songs, and his cousin, Carl West, was his songwriting partner. Albie Shaw actually started off as a rapper, but while working with his cousin and coming up with their sound, they realised that he was better off as a singer instead. Shaw was mentored by all the big names in Uptown Records. DJ Eddie and F. Farrell from Heavy D and the Boys all showed him the ropes. Speaking of getting into singing, Shaw said, "I decided to try my hand at singing, mainly because there were some things I wanted to say and try that wouldn't have worked as well with rap. The falsetto thing, particularly, was something that fit into a song context, but wouldn't work in a rap production." His album, In Effect Mode, was released in 1988 as a joint venture between Uptown Records and Warner Brothers. Night and Day was considered a crossover song, reaching 7 on the US Billboard Hot 100. A huge chunk of his fan base were women, and in those days the term sex symbol or heartthrob were used. The attention I've gotten from women has been very flattering, and I'm thankful, but I also don't overplay this sex symbol stuff. On stage, I try to do a good show. Let people know that I can do all kinds of songs, and not just keep pushing the sex bit. It's important to get the audience involved in what you're doing, but I also don't want to alienate anyone or get any men angry.
Sarah, smile. Oh, won't you smile and welcome me? Sarah.
So Shaw wrote all the songs on the album, along with his cousin Carl West, except for the cover Killing Me Softly. Speaking of Quincy Jones, who became his mentor, he said, "Quincy Jones told me that while I had talent and should have a bright future, I'd also have to go out there and do it myself." And that's what Albie Shaw went on to do, making a name for himself in R&B. He called his sound progressive R&B, and then he became known for New Jack Swing. His first album sold almost 2 million, and then he started working on his second album, Private Time. Now around this time, hip-hop had taken off in a big way, but the genre started to move over into a different direction. With the rise of NWA, who came on the scene in 1987, gangster rap, as opposed to conscious rap, started to become more popular. Songs such as F the Police and Gangsta Gangsta were on heavy rotation. And as you can imagine, rap began to get a lot of criticism, more than usual. Al B. Sure, along with Keith Sweat and even Bobby Brown, were actually praised for being pop or soul singers, promoting old romantic ideas as opposed to killing people and street violence. Speaking on this, just 22 at the time, Shaw said, "Although I don't believe in censorship, I believe an artist is responsible for his actions, especially if he's a young artist whom young kids listen to. There's almost a sense of being like the Bible. The kids listen to what he says and live by it. That's why I don't believe in negativity. Music can be an incredible vehicle for helping people, and I'm into peace and love." Shaw was highly acclaimed as an artist, even before he became a songwriter and producer. This put him on legendary status. He had his own interpretation of songs and different genres. Shaw was considered the most conservative and musically sophisticated out of all of his competitors. He was actually compared to Michael Jackson, and his sound was described as whispery and enraptured. He was also influenced by Donny Hathaway and Stevie Wonder. Ironically, it was the rise in gangster rap that hurt Al B. Shaw's career. His second album went gold, but his third album didn't do as well, and he only released one song from that album.
Sexy Verses turned out to be Al B. Sure's last album on a major label. He would not record again for 17 years.
This industry is not really built for human beings. It's a machine. And, sometimes you find yourself, being very alone.
In an interview with Fox Soul in 2020, Shaw revealed the nature of his relationship with Kim Porter, whom he met while signed to Uptown Records. He revealed that they were actually married. So he said that Andre Harrell actually introduced him to Kim while they were backstage one night. And this was in 1988. Shaw said that he was the one who moved Kim from Columbus, Georgia to New York, where she was able to pursue her modeling career. They had their son Quincy in 1991. He was obviously named after the legendary producer, songwriter, composer, and musician. Speaking of a tribute he had posted to Kim and revealing that they were in fact married, he said, "Every time I post something, I forget it's me. I'm a grandfather, so my concern is not being popular and trying to get numbers and likes. That's not what I do. But I posted something the other day talking about my ex-wife. Yeah, I said it. My ex-wife, Kimberly. Nobody knew because we didn't discuss being married. We didn't discuss it. Every so often I give her a tribute." So Al B. Sure and Kim Porter began dating shortly before his career took off. On TV1's Unsung, Kim said, "He was sweet and kind and genuine. Those are the things I fell in love with, besides his good looks." Shaw said, "She was also very independent, modeling. She was in and out of Italy, so I would fly out to Italy to support her." There's some reports that they were married in 1989 and divorced in 1990. Jodeci's second single from their debut album of the same name was Forever My Lady. The song was written and produced by Al B. Sure, and Devontae Swing also has some credits on the song. Shaw was inspired to write the song after Kim revealed that she was expecting their first child. Quincy was born the same year the song was released, in 1991. It was slightly controversial at the time because most of Jodeci themselves were only teenagers. But at the same time, many point out today that the song has great sentiments about a man excited about becoming a father. In today's culture, you don't often hear that in songs.
So you're having my baby, and it means so much to me.
I started to write the song Forever My Lady, and it was about Kimberly. The song was about Kim. So you're having my baby, and it means so much to me.
And I remember they were working on the song and they couldn't come up with the lyrics. And Al looked at me and he was like, "So you're having my baby." And I was like, "Ah!"
Kim put her modelling career on hold to focus on being a mother, and she supported him at the peak of his career. The song and the story behind it is very beautiful, so many wondered, what went wrong for the relationship to eventually end. Well, unfortunately, there was cheating involved. Albie Shaw ended up cheating on Kim Porter, and he fathered another child with another woman.
When someone cheats and they have a child with someone else, that's my boundary. That's, for me, that's where I draw the line.
Yep, that would do it. Upon discovering this, Kim ended the relationship, or shall I say, marriage. Kim would later go on to date Diddy, and that was a very high-profile relationship. I believe they met in 1994, and they dated on and off for 13 years. Unfortunately, during his childhood, Quincy became estranged from his biological father, Albie Shaw, and Diddy ended up becoming a father to him and eventually went on to adopt him. Although Al wasn't around when Quincy was growing up, they are close today, and today Quincy himself is an artist. He's an actor and singer. So it's believed Kim and Diddy started dating in 1994, and they broke up for good in 2007, where Diddy basically left her for J-Lo. Kim and Diddy went on to have 3 children together, twin girls and a boy, and of course he also adopted Quincy. In 2018, Kim Porter suddenly passed away, and the cause of death was cited to be pneumonia. Speaking to Essence, Diddy said, "She had the flu, and she sent the kids over to my house so they wouldn't get sick. One night I was checking on her, and she was like, 'Puffy, take care of my babies.' She actually said that to me before she died." And Puffy said that his biggest regret was not marrying Kim when he had the opportunity to. And I go into more detail in this video, so check it out. A couple of years ago, Shaw posted a cryptic Instagram post, which has since been deleted, raising suspicion into the nature of Kim's death. He alluded to her revealing things to him and her running from something or someone at the time. But apparently the original post said that she was running and that he told her to call the FBI. But he later went on to change it to running a marathon. You made me smile, the whole world smile, and still do. Albert, #forever my lady. Albies around the world. I just found this footage from the morning I learned of our Lady KP's, aka Kim Porter's murder, and how it ripped my soul from my physical body. I was on my way to film the pre-show packages for the BET Awards with Tisha Campbell-Martin and Tashina Arnold when I received a call from PR icon Queenie Donaldson asking me if I was okay and did I hear the news. I had no clue. I do know very clearly that Kimberly didn't just check out all of a sudden over pneumonia. That's some BS. Really? This is where I get in trouble. We just celebrated our son Quincy's new deal and Christmas special with Netflix, and she was in fantastic health, as well as laughing, seeing me and Diddy's mutual exchange at the theatre. I'm going to leave it here. So he never explained further, and the post was deleted. I speak about it in my other video, but what struck me is that she did go to the doctor, she did seek medical help, and I don't know why it wasn't picked up. Albie Shaw is a celebrated artist, producer and writer. As well as Jodeci, he has written for LL Cool J, Usher and Tevin Campbell, to name a few. Albie Shaw also filled in for Michael Jackson on Quincy Jones's song, The Secret Garden, and many people to this day believe that it was Michael Jackson singing on the track. At the beginning of this month, November 2022, Albie Shaw made an announcement via Twitter explaining that he had just woken up from a 2-month coma, also sharing a photo clearly showing that he had lost a lot of weight. He said, "In early to mid-July, I was in a meeting over lunch, wrapped up, and proceeded back to the studio to continue working on my upcoming project. As I sat in front of the computer, I began to lose feeling on the entire left side of my body and fell over to the side. Fortunately, my phone was within reach and I was able to call for assistance. I only remember sitting in the ER in a wheelchair and my brother, DJ Eddie, standing next to me speaking with a security guard. It was October when I was made fully aware of what had transpired and was able to start to comprehend it all. I had multiple surgeries covering everything, from repairing a hematoma, hernia, to an organ transplant. A very humble thank you for the prayers. My 107.5 WLBS family. I'm alive, awake, on the mend, submissively grateful. He never said what his official diagnosis was or, gave any more light into what exactly caused this. But he said that he was going to share more soon and that he hoped it would encourage all of us to take care of our health and wellness. And Shaw has faced a lot of loss in his life. His close friend, Heavy D, passed away in 2011 from a pulmonary embolism thought to be caused by a blood clot in the leg. He was just 44 at the time of his death. And in 2020, Andre Harrell passed away at the age of 59, believed to be due to heart problems. And he described what he went through as a medical roller coaster. Excessive fluid on the lungs, fungal pneumonia, lymph nodes removed, organ transplant, multiple blood infusions, intubation, placed on a ventilator. He said his doctors informed him that they actually considered sending him to hospice care. This unforeseen medical roller coaster has been a complete life-changing experience, and I truly value everyday functionality like walking, talking, breathing on my own, with no assistance from a medical professional or machines. Take none of the aforementioned for granted. And the hashtags allude to it being a medically induced coma. So it doesn't sound like he lost consciousness and, was in a coma for 2 months. It sounds like they put him in a coma in order for his body to recover from whatever he was battling. I can't imagine what he went through and what his family went through. To say it was scary is an understatement. His son, Albert Brown IV, or Albie Shaw Jr., posted the following on Instagram when it happened to be his birthday. Thank you everyone for the birthday wishes. Been kind of out of it and in my own world. Pop's been hospitalized for 2 months and he just made it out. So I'm much better and ready to get back. It's time to get up, Pop. We got things to do and countries to visit. Thank you all for the concerns and worries about my family. Today is my day, but this is for my Pops. All I want for him is to get out of that hospital. We need you, Big Homie. So we all wish Albie Shaw a speedy recovery and hope that he continues to go from strength to strength every day. Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts below. I read the comments. Like and subscribe for weekly videos. And don't forget to click the bell for more.